Federal Reserve, inflation has been so high, less money in their savings accounts, less money in their investing accounts. Alright, what's up guys? Welcome to another video. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Federal Reserve meeting yesterday. So talk about what they announced, what will happen next, and also what this means for inflation, what it'll mean for banks, and all that stuff. So stay tuned. So the Federal Reserve increased the interest rate by 1/4 percentage point, and that is the 9th increase in about a year. So they've done a lot of these increases. This is the smallest increase that they can do. It's kind of what people expected, to either increase by a 1/4 percentage point, which they did, or actually to not increase it at all. The reason is obviously they're fighting inflation. That's why they want to raise the interest rates. The Federal Reserve did come out a couple weeks ago, said that they had to increase it by 2 basis points, which is basically had to increase it by 1/2 percentage point. Although with banks collapsing now, they're a little scared to increase it too much, which makes sense. So that's why they went with the smallest increase that they can do. That is, however, good news for consumers in a way. At least if you have some time perspective on it, it is good news. So that means that they're still considering the fight against inflation as the top priority, and not, obviously they do think about the banks as well, but inflation and consumers in general is what is their top priority right now. So if you look at this from the bank's perspective, especially banks that have a lot of money or are heavily invested in government bonds, this may not be such good news. Banks that have investments similar to Silicon Valley Bank, obviously they had a lot of extra money that was deposited over the past couple years, didn't really know what to do with it, and so most of it went straight into government bonds. And then as interest rates increased, those lost their value, and then when people took their deposits out for various reasons, then they went bankrupt. So anyways, I think it's a good thing that the Federal Reserve are focusing more on inflation rather than helping out banks right now. This will be good for us in the foreseeable future. So the Federal Reserve also announced some other huge news yesterday. But first, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. If you have friends that you think will benefit from this video and all this information, share this video with them, share my channel with them. That way they can stay updated on what's going on in the economy, and it'll help them make better decisions when it comes to investing. Now, back to the big news. So the Federal Reserve also announced that they will not expand the FDIC insurance past the current cap. So what this means is if you have money in the bank, your money's insured as long as you have less than $250,000 in the bank. So any amount between 0 and $250,000, you'll get your money back regardless if the bank goes bankrupt. Whatever happens, you get your money back because it's insured. But in the situation where you have more than that, the maximum amount you can get is $250,000 back. And there was a lot of talks going on after Silicon Valley Bank collapsed. Obviously, a lot of these startups and tech companies had a lot more money than, $250,000 in their bank accounts, maybe, millions of dollars. And there were talks about the FDIC insuring all of that money. And I think that would have been a really bad idea if they did change that, because that would have meant that they would have had to print more money and give that back to, you know, the companies that lost the money through SVB. Obviously, that would have been good for those companies, but you look at the overall picture, that would not have helped inflation at all. So, in that way, I think it's good for consumers overall that they didn't do that. Yeah, unfortunately for those companies that lost most of their money, it's not good news, but that's just how it is. So, all right, if you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll put more content out like this. And yeah, I hope you enjoy. Thanks.
Whoops.